Hi Molly, nice to meet you. Thank you for coming the Fireside chat for the FIL Seoul current event. How is it going?
It's going great. Thank you so much for having me. And thank you all for joining us for this amazing gathering. I wish I could be here in person, but I'm so energized and excited to see this amazing group coming together, learning more about Filecoin, sharing more about the amazing advancements in this ecosystem, and excited to share a couple things from my corner of the world and some of the really cool areas where Filecoin is getting better, stronger, and more powerful every day.
Yeah, great. So let's start with some specific topics. So I would like to ask you, what is the recent Filecoin new updates, upgrade, and ecosystem news for the current community?
Yeah, so some really exciting new areas of improvement for the Filecoin ecosystem. The first and biggest one that I think you're going to hear a lot about throughout the rest of this quarter through the end of the year is layer 2 networks building on Filecoin. We already had our first layer 2 network, FluEnce, build on top of Filecoin and launch earlier this year. So it's the first compute network building on Filecoin, utilizing IPC, which is interplanetary consensus, a new revolutionary scaling technology developed for and by the Filecoin ecosystem, specifically designed for large-scale DePIN networks with heavy-duty service providers, interacting in this network and having very large-scale, computing jobs or needing the ability to fractally form many different networks over time. And just this quarter, we have 3 new layer 2 networks launching in Filecoin. Aave has already announced their testnet. They're targeting AI and compute workloads as a data layer 2 that is bringing new large-scale compute networks into the storage ecosystem in Filecoin, doing all sorts of kind of large-scale compute job snapshotting and bringing that already to a number of different clients. There's Basin, which is developed by the textile team and the ceramic team that we know and love. They are working on launching that live, hopefully, later this year to bring that network really targeting DePIN networks. So large-scale infrastructure groups like WeatherXM, IoTex, Demo, many other large-scale DePIN networks can now harness and utilize the Basin network. And they've been building this kind of hand in hand with the Filecoin community for the last number of months. We're super excited about working together with them. And last but definitely not least, we also have Straccia, which is the evolution of Web3 storage, finally decentralizing this critical service and tool that's already used by OpenSea and Fleek and many of the Web3 dApps that you know and love, now is becoming fully decentralized into a layer 2 network, building on top of Filecoin. And all 3 of these are utilizing IPC as well, along with FluEnce, to build their networks and have that kind of horizontal scalability of their systems from day zero, and also build on and with the Filecoin community, working hand in hand with existing Filecoin storage providers to add these additional service expectations on top of what Filecoin SPs do today and get additional rewards for it. So I think that's a really, really exciting new growth area for Filecoin as a core dev and active contributor in the Filecoin ecosystem, working very closely together with many of these groups as well to see them be successful. One of the building blocks that these groups are also using, which is kind of the next exciting area, is around hot storage primitives. So later this year, we are going to be adding our first hot storage primitive to Filecoin called PDP, Proof of Data Possession. This doesn't require any sealing or unsealing to access data that's stored in Filecoin. It can be available on the network almost instantly. It allows you to do short-term storage deals, however short you want, or longer term. And we're doing that hand in hand with the layer 2 networks that are building on top of Filecoin so that they can use even more new storage primitives within Filecoin L1 to then incentivize and power these L2 onboarding platforms with kind of a faster cache space within Filecoin land. So we're really excited about that. On the FilOz team, we are going to be working on and implementing that proof of data possession. And last but not least, also super excited about some of the improvements that are coming to storage provider land. We've seen some amazing OpEx improvements already launch in the last network upgrade. So NV23 brought non-interactive POREP, which is a significant cost savings for groups that are onboarding storage into the network, allowing them to simplify their onboarding process and also do it much more asynchronously so that you can schedule your onboarding time, you can do batch onboarding, you can even sell onboarding between, a ceiling as a service provider versus someone who just wants to be focused on long-term data storage and maintenance. Yep. And so that's already being put into work by the Ramo Web3 Mine community and ecosystem. But the Curio team has some really, really exciting stuff that's just hitting the network today, these days. I think it just started rolling out to mainnet in the last week or so. There's a lot of new improvements that were developed by the supranational team to the Filecoin proof system, highly optimizing and customizing existing Filecoin proof commit steps to make it much more efficient, much less costly from an OpEx perspective for storage providers. This requires some tuning of the hardware kind of architecture that you're using as a storage provider, but folks are seeing really significant cost savings improvements. I think we already have, somewhere between 2 and 5 storage providers that are starting to use this on mainnet, many more coming soon, and they're seeing very significant improvements in their efficiency. So that's a big opportunity, both for existing and new storage providers that might want to get involved in Filecoin. So kind of those 3 main areas, layer 2s, hot, fast storage primitives, and lower OpEx for storage providers are the 3 main things I'm most excited about for the Filecoin ecosystem.
Yeah, that sounds so exciting. By the way, FilOz and IoTex is joining as speaker at FIL Seoul this year. And I think from the perspective of storage providers, especially we have many audience today, Korean storage providers. So storage providers can diversify their business model, not only the capacity provider, they can in the future, with FilOz IPC, Akave Basin, they can provide decentralized computing, hot storage, fast retrieval service.
Yeah. That literally only did long-term storage, and you didn't have any other interaction of other services that were composing and interacting with that. And that's kind of how we see Filecoin as well. It is a baseline platform for many different services to interact with and add more value. That's why stage 3 of the Filecoin ecosystem master plan is all around bringing useful compute and interactive services to the data that's stored in Filecoin. And that's kind of where, a lot of the focus around making it easier for new storage primitives, new compute primitives, new retrieval primitives to start coming and building in the Filecoin ecosystem. We really see Filecoin offering many of these large scale infra services and doing that in collaboration with this beautiful DePIN network that is evolving with teams like Fluence, so that we can really all together collaborate on making a great service experience for clients. Because at the end of the day, it's users who want to store their data, run compute over it, build and power websites and applications and AI models. That's who really we all are trying to serve. So coming together really helps us bring a more cohesive offering. And I strongly encourage any storage provider that feels like they just have to choose one to rethink their model. If anything, you're going to be stronger and more powerful in a multi-noding world where you're running a Filecoin L1 node and an Akave node and an IoTex node and a Fluence node, because then you can take service jobs and requests that compose across those many different services. So a win-win-win comes by bringing them all together.
Definitely. So I think there are still issues like Korean storage provider. They are hard to get new updates, new informations about the ecosystem, about the new dev toolings. FIL Seoul is happening rolling basis every year, but I think we definitely need someone or some meetups or workshops to deliver new updates, technical.
If anyone is going to be in Thailand later this year, we are going to have our next FilDev Summit in Thailand. Our last one was in Brussels, and all of the videos from Phil Brussels are now online and available for anyone who wants to go and check it out. You can find the website here with all of the different tracks that happened, from Deepin Day to Welcome to Filecoin, Security and Compliance, and then all the videos are already up on YouTube. So staying abreast of the Filecoin YouTube page is a great place to start, and all of the recordings are up there. But I would be really excited to meet some folks in person in Thailand, because we're going to have another FilDev Summit diving even deeper, and we'll also be using that time to hopefully put out more, accessible communication to folks, do deeper updates on kind of our next big network upgrade, and some of the, highlighting the biggest new features that people should be taking advantage of.
Yeah, and I was keeping my eye on the FilDev Summit in Singapore, Iceland, Denver, Brussels, and next one is in Bangkok. How do you review the impact and feedback from the community? What progress you made in the past FilDev Summit?
Yeah, these are really designed for builders, developers, storage providers, clients, folks who are engaged in making Filecoin better. So, one of the things we're constantly looking at is how many deep conversations are we able to have? Are we able to, come closer in alignment on our roadmap and what we're working on? Things like PDP and Filecoin web services, those were key conversation topics where we were gaining alignment across multiple different groups like Straccia, Kave, FilOz. During the FilDev Summit, Curio was having a lot of really deep conversations with storage providers. So that's definitely one of our key success metrics, is making sure that we're able to harness these venues to inform protocol prioritization, roadmap development. A really interesting thing that came out of this last one was a new product market fit working group for Filecoin, trying to help define the different SLAs that Filecoin wants to offer to different client groups, so that we can do a better job of kind of tracking and seeing our progress as we serve more SLAs for more different user types. We've had over 100 people attending each FilDev Summit so far. We're hoping that we have even more people attending this next one. We've got a little bit of extra space. We're partnering with the Filecoin Foundation, and we did this last one alongside Deepin Day, which was also phenomenal broadening of the conversation and community, who was talking about these new upgrade pathways with IPC and Filecoin, and bringing compute and data together. So we're very excited to see that pushing forward. You can actually already sign up for FilDev Summit Bangkok. It's open on fildevsummit.io, and you can buy your $20 ticket to come and join the conversation.
Yes, I think FilDev Summit, Lab Week, many side events, broader Web3, Ethereum,
Phil Bangkok, Deepin Day, Funding the Commons. There's going to be tons of people in town. So November 6th through 8th, and then Lab Week, I think, is November 7th through 13th, and DevCon is November 12th through 15th. But it's going to be a great 2 weeks in Thailand.
Great. Yeah. Let's go to the next topic. Can you explain what is FilOz? How FilOz contributing to the community and the ecosystem?
Yes, absolutely. FilOz is a new public goods team in the Filecoin ecosystem that I created with Jennifer Wing and Nicola Greco and a number of other builders and researchers and core contributors across Filecoin. So we're really excited to focus on a couple of main things. Maybe I'll just share a quick view into our team mission and focus. So we have kind of four main things that we spend our time on. First is network security and upgrades. This is work around helping custodian new network upgrades into the ecosystem, doing security audits and reviews of new features. We helped with the most recent NV23, which brought the soft launch of Filecoin Fast Finality, brought NI POREP, brought a lot of other OpEx improvements for storage providers into the ecosystem, brought some better support for legacy Ethereum transactions to FEVM. So lots of work there around upgrading the network and making it better. We also do a lot of protocol R&D to kind of make Filecoin better. This is things like bringing the new PDP hot fast storage proof to Filecoin, or making new improvements like non-interactive POREP and working with the community to design and enable that, and other like larger changes from an R&D perspective to Filecoin. So that's kind of a big focus area. F3 itself, and helping make sure that the next network upgrade coming in October is able to bring F3 into the Filecoin ecosystem. That's a big focus for us as well. We also custodian the Lotus implementation, which is one of 3 client implementations in Filecoin. We also spend time working on the built-in actors and ref FVM that we co-maintain with some other groups. And so here we've been doing a lot of better testing to make the Lotus implementation more robust. We've been making a lot of improvements to the Ethereum API in FEVM so that RPC providers can offer much better service to folks who are building and deploying in Filecoin land. So we've been making a lot of smooth and security upgrades there. And last but not least, we also spend a lot of time working with the protocol and developer community on growing and expanding our technical knowledge. So a lot of knowledge sharing, working with the 4 folks who are contributing in the PL Dev Guild to Filecoin, sharing a lot of knowledge through protocol days about design and development improvements. And this is our mission statement: to secure, upgrade, and expand the utility and value created by the Filecoin network. So our number one focus is making Filecoin better, faster, stronger. And that's what we do. We have about I think 13 people, maybe a little bit more, across development, research, implementation, design, and custodianship in the Filecoin ecosystem, trying to make it better every single day. So that's what our focus is, and we're all going to be coming to Thailand, hopefully, to meet with a lot of folks there.
Yeah, I think people is interested in working with the FilOz. They can just go to the FilOz website to see the area you covers, and to see the team members there. They already have team members posted there. Great. The next question is about on-chain payment and stablecoins. You mentioned a lot of the layer 2 service providers, dev tooling, and the new economic profit generation for the storage providers or any kind of service providers in Filecoin network. So what is the dev status of the on-chain payment, even stablecoins? People want to pay for the stablecoin, not the fluctuated cryptocurrencies.
Exactly. Yeah, we've heard a ton of demand for that from storage providers and from clients. They just want a more reliable, less, Web3 native way of denominating their infrastructure costs. And so having a Filecoin-backed stablecoin is something we're super excited for as an ecosystem. So it can allow us to, both think about storage fees, but maybe even other fees in the network, utilizing and harnessing a stablecoin that is also aligned with and powering the Filecoin economy, kind of like how DAI works in the Ethereum ecosystem. And we think this is going to be really, really awesome for all of these service payments. And we've also been hearing from storage providers and clients that both the bar of service quality that Filecoin is offering and that clients are demanding of their Filecoin offering is increasing, and that through that, more and more folks are actively paying for their storage resources in Filecoin. And it's critical that that happens through the Filecoin economy, through on-chain paid deals. We now have smart contracts. We're going to have layer 2s. There's even more ways for that activity to be acting within the Filecoin ecosystem and economy. And so there's some ongoing competitions looking at how much people are harnessing and utilizing on-chain paid deals as a kind of success metric and demonstration of that demand in the Filecoin ecosystem. And having a stable coin that I know is in the works and I'm very, very excited for, I think is going to really help fuel that. In addition to having, say, off-chain USD payments, which really don't bring that activity into the Filecoin ecosystem and economy in the same way. So I think that's going to be a great upgrade for the entire network and ecosystem.
Yes. Last time I joined the FIL Dev Summit in Brussels, and Secure Finance, they proposed stable coins. And today, Secure Finance is joining as speaker. I believe they are going to talk about that. Great. The next is, I think, great. Yeah. thank you so much. Let's jump to the next question. I think the question is specific for the storage providers. Now you have new upgrade on the FIL Plus program. What is new upgrade, and how do you think storage providers or validate allocator, FIL Plus allocator can contribute to that?
Yeah, so I know it's been a long time in progress and has been live for a couple quarters now, but kind of really kicked off end of last year, went through implementation in Q1 and is now kind of live in the network. There's now a tree of different allocators in the Filecoin Plus community. This is groups who have kind of stepped up to, run a system within FIL Plus that is evaluating other clients and making sure that they are offering a great quality of service to other providers in the network. And the benefit of that is we've now got smart contract based allocators. We have some that are fully automated and are just checking Gitcoin passport as a proof of personhood to allocate some amount of data cap. We have ones that are very different and tuned for different use cases. Some are more enterprise oriented. A lot are really raising the bar in terms of ensuring that all of the folks that they're allocating data cap to are not just doing cold storage of client data, but are also serving fast retrievals as audited by the Spark retrieval bot. And so that is really helping Filecoin as a whole up our game in terms of the number of clients and use cases that we're able to serve. Because a lot of folks, Glacier is great. Many folks love Glacier, but often you want Glacier in conjunction with S3 level performance and storage. And so a number of these data cap providers are requiring and mandating that anyone who applies for that data cap is meeting those expectations. And now with this allocator program, it's a lot easier to audit and make sure, yes, if you're allocating this data cap here, it's actually meeting those program requirements. And if you allocate data cap and it's not being met, well, then you don't get more data cap to allocate. And we have a much more, fractal structure for how that allocation is happening in the network. And I think, together as a group, this is meaning that we're raising the bar and that storage providers are really who are getting this, data cap and aiming to bring on client data into the Filecoin ecosystem, that they're serving those responsibilities well, and that folks who aren't on board to serve those sorts of, real client use cases, they're not in the running for that data cap, which also has started meaning that the, level of trust and quality that people experience from Filecoin storage is also increasing, which makes them more willing to pay for it, which is a really great win-win-win in the ecosystem. And so it's awesome to see from a client perspective as well, more folks being like, yeah, I'll pay, $5-7 per terabyte. This is a good investment and I'm getting a quality of data storage. This is still cheap compared to the quality of storage that I can get elsewhere. And so I think that's a really great improvement where I'd love to see storage providers continuing to get involved. There are still different types of allocators that I think we'd love to see exist as an ecosystem that are experimenting with new ways of doing auditing of value contribution. For example, I think a couple groups are simply auditing that the deals are being paid for by clients. Or that they have an external business KYC party that will audit the on-ramp itself instead of the on-ramp's clients. There's lots of different configurations. So if you and your business doesn't fit with one of the existing on-ramps, you can propose a new allocator type that does work better and does a good job making sure that we can bring all sorts of exciting, useful data. Another thing we've started seeing is that some of the deals that were made a year and a half ago, onboarding kind of large-scale public data sets, where maybe they weren't coordinating with the original creator of that data set, they're a year and a half old and those original deals are starting to expire off of the network. And I think that's a good opportunity for a storage provider who is looking for data that they can bring into their committed capacity sectors to pick up some of those open access data sets and store them in their own sectors and harness the fact that yes, this data was already approved previously by previous data cap application, and I can now pick up the torch from this other storage provider and carry that data forward in the network. So I think that's an improvement as well. Really, our role here is to make sure that we can serve humanity's data needs in this ecosystem and be a robust foundation for all of humanity's information. And so we need to make sure that as we evolve all of our incentives and our kind of robust network of tools, that we're achieving that mission.
Yes. So how could storage providers do business model transformation from the previous capacity provider to the storage, hot storage data, even computing? And storage providers really care about profit, right? They provide a service and they care about profit. What kind of new innovations and how do you expect innovations from the storage providers community?
Yeah. I have three main things that I would suggest storage providers look into, and it makes sense. You're running a business. You want to offer good quality of service, and you want to be rewarded for that by the ecosystem. So, number one, charge your clients for your service. If they're paying for it, they care about it, and you'll also be held accountable to offering a good quality of service. It's a storage network. We can offer a 10x discount on AWS and still enable storage providers to be participating in this ecosystem and having clients pay for the data storage hardware that's holding their data. So number one, have paying customers. That is the first and most important thing for the entire Filecoin network, to be onboarding real data that people care about. Number two, harness the latest improvements in proving technology and hardware technology to run with lower OpEx. There's been huge improvements just in the past year, both to the kind of reliability and efficiency of the storage provider software and tooling, and some of the proving setups, these supranational improvements I was mentioning earlier. Go check out Curio, which is a new storage provider software stack. Go check out Ramo and Web3 Mine, which make it really easy to onboard any different device type and kind of just in time get sealing as a service jobs or storage jobs kind of tuned for whatever hardware you've brought into the system. Check out some of those networks. It is much cheaper from an OpEx perspective to be a storage provider than it's ever been in the past. And those are gains that you want to be putting back in your pocket instead of spending on your own operational expenses. And last but not least, it's a huge opportunity with new layer 2 networks, DPIN networks, this confluence of many different services that are coming together. Don't choose just one. Run many of these services all at the same time and upsell your clients for the value of running multiple of these together. So make your Filecoin layer 1 rewards, get your Strata, Basin, Akave tokens, get your Fluence tokens. Like, this is a great opportunity to really have a foot in many of these different growing industries and be a key player in all of them at the same time and bring that value to customers and users who don't just want you to store their genomics data, but they want to run compute jobs over that genomics data. They want to train AI models over that genomics data. They want to participate in DPIN networks that are aggregating, or data DAOs that are helping women get better healthcare data and better healthcare recommendations. There's a great opportunity there, I think, to not just think of yourself as a worker node that's participating in just one ecosystem, but you're a service provider across many ecosystems, and you're getting a whole portfolio of rewards from all of these networks you participate in. And I think that's a great opportunity for the storage providers here. So get paying clients, optimize your OpEx, and participate in multiple storage networks.
Yeah, thank you for the chat today. I really appreciate. I enjoyed the conversation today. Thank you so much, and looking forward to see you in Bangkok.
Me as well. Thanks so much for having me, and I wish I could be there in person, but hopefully see many of you later this year.
Thank you.
Bye.